It's good to be here. I'm Tim Troutman, the Warning Coordination Meteorologist with the Weather Service. I thought, historically it would be good, to kind of characterize the breadth of this event. I mean, these are the national stats, the latest and greatest. At least 335 tornadoes occurred. I obviously recorded most tornadoes in history at this point. Not saying it might not have happened more in previous events, but this was the most that had been recorded. At this point, 345 fatalities, unfortunately. Third most deaths. Number one was the Tri-State tornado, March 18th, 1925. That killer event, 695 deaths. Then the Tupelo-Gainesville tornado outbreak of April 5th of 1936, 436 deaths. Number four was the March 21st, 1932 tornado outbreak, which was very similar in scope as this one. There were 330 fatalities with that event. So if you take a lot of that into perspective, not to say it might not happen next year, but in the scheme of things since the late 1800s and to this point, this was potentially like a 45-year event that happened. And at this point, $6 to $10 billion estimated worth of damage. And if you look at that on averages, that's probably, that one day event was the equivocal damage nationwide of what we typically average severe weather-wise, damage-wise for an entire year happened with this one event in one day. In our area, worst documented tornado event, at least 53 tornadoes, 35 deaths. April 3rd, 1974, 18 tornadoes reported in our county warning area, 12 deaths, 279 injuries. I began after the event, began the damage, but I want to preface this by saying when the early morning event began around the Chattanooga area on the 27th, that between 8 and 10 a.m., that time frame, George Matthews and myself, we got together and decided, at that point, hey, we may have a window of opportunity here to get for me to go down and look at the damage in the Chattanooga area before the next big round happens in the afternoon. We were thinking, we were progging based upon the latest forecast maps of, anytime after between 3, 4, or 5 p.m. time frame be when the next round would come in. So I decided, I'm going to take a quick beeline down there to look at the damage. And I finished up the storm survey for Bradley County. That was EF2 in the morning event, and there was one injury. A fellow in a mobile home. It completely destroyed the mobile home, and he ended up about 75 yards away, and thankfully was not injured too severely. By the time I finished with that survey, it was around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I go back I stop at the local newspaper there, the Cleveland Banner, give them a report. Since they're right there, I figure I'll give them the courtesy. They get the scoop because they're right there. And when I finish that at about 3 o'clock, I go to the emergency management office and I tell them what we had in the county there, which is right next door to the Banner newspaper. And when I'm finishing with the report at the 911 center, a lady walks up to me with a kind of an iPad type of a display that has a camera that's looking out to the southwest of the 911 center. And she says, "Hey, Mr. Troutman, you look at severe weather pictures and things like that. What's this?" And I'm looking at this picture and I'm seeing a developing funnel cloud heading right toward us. And I said, "This is not good. We've got about a minute." I want everybody, please, to listen to me. We got to go to the most interior room, bathroom, anything we can find and hang on, because it looks like a tornado's forming and it's heading toward us. And of course, when I say that, you've got 2 or 3 guys that are brave and they want to, let's go look at it. And I said, no, let's not. So by the time when they hit the door, the winds hit. boom, and I guarantee you it's probably 70-mile-an-hour winds at that point. The hail starts, it starts as pea size, and within 5 seconds it's up to golf ball size. And when I hear golf ball size hail banging on the roof of that building, I'm thinking to myself, this is not good. So I'm telling you, we've got 30 seconds probably before the tornado hits, if there's a tornado there in the storm. And sure enough, within 30 seconds, the winds really picked up. And I mean, it wasn't 5 seconds later, it was gone. But we looked out the back window there in the backyard at the emergency management office. There were trees snapped off, and their antenna at the 911 center was severely damaged. So I'm thinking, well, looks like I'm going to have to survey this too. So I stayed there and I surveyed that one. And then by that time, things were really beginning to get organized in North Alabama. And I'm thinking, boy, I got to get out of here. This is getting bad. This is getting really bad. So I get out of here. I got out of there as quick as I could and got back to the office as quickly as I could. And I know Matt. I did an interview with Matt and with Todd's group on the way back. Just to let you know, I was on the way back when I talked to you guys live on air. So getting back to the office, it was when the event was really underway, it was really surreal because I worked the forecast desk the previous midnight shift the previous Friday, and we were looking at the potential at that point of, hey, this could be as bad as. First, we started November 10th, 2002, because that's what we've started to measure a lot of these events toward, the big ones. And then by the early part of the week, we're saying definitely April 3rd, 1974, prior to the event. But as I digress, I just wanted to say that there's something that you just can't really measure and talk about when you forecast it, and then it's here. And you hope that it doesn't happen. And you pray that it doesn't happen, but it's here. And you have to deal with it. And that's what and I'm sure you guys out there, I'm preaching to the choir, we dealt with it as good as we could. And when we went down to look at the initial damage, I took the south end initially. We had 4 teams, by the way, at least. We actually brought in some folks that looked at the Virginia storms, and George looked at the Southwest Virginia storms, and George looked at the storms in Greene County and a little further north, and we at Howard Waldron, the retired warning coordination meteorologist here, who worked at the office from the spin-up time till retiring. We brought Howard back. I mean, we're thinking that it's bad when you bring, you're looking for folks to help you, and that's where we were at that point. And Howard, thank goodness we appreciate his work on this event. He did a lot of analysis and really helped with the survey of a lot of the tornadoes toward the Knoxville area, then down toward Monroe County. So I took the south, and Eric Holwig, our IT, and myself, he was kind of the person who was very helpful. He helped steer me around and gave me the bearings, and I was looking at the damage. So we started out along the Tennessee border there in Appleton, and that was the F4, the EF4 that moved up out of Ringo, Georgia, and this was one of the first locations we came to. And you can see by the damage there, a lot of the brick is, the only thing left of this 3-story home is the brick around the basement. And there was probably about at least a 24-inch in diameter round tree that was completely chopped in 3 pieces. It was not displaced a long ways. So that, you've got 3rd story, 2nd story, 1st story gone. And the only thing left is that basement area right there. That was it. And that was 180-mile-an-hour winds right there. Tornado continued east-northeast from there. And then it came down, as Howard was just briefly and I were mentioning, A lot of times when these tornadoes, when they'll come off a mountain or a higher elevation, they drop down to a valley, and you've got all that forward momentum and rotational velocities within the tornado hammering it down to the ground. And that's what unfortunately happened at this next location here. And you can see that was part of the foundation right there of it, and not a lot of left of that location. And there's another picture there of some of the cars that were flipped and tossed several yards. And as we further move a little to the northeast, the next home that, in the breadth of this area, we're probably talking 2 miles from the first picture to this one. And this was another home where you've got a lot of almost all the debris, the wood and so forth around the home. It's in this lake away from the house as it's moving toward you, the tornado. And you can see, that's your foundation's in the back, and then there's all the pieces of the home that are strung, several hundred yards away from it. Large home. As you're getting closer to the main area of the damage, these are some of the TVA, the towers there that were snapped in half along the way. This was very near where it hit dead on 2 mobile homes and killed 5 people. Very, very rough place to take a look at things. This was where the 5 deaths occurred. There's nothing left of the mobile homes. We couldn't find a lot of the damage from them. I did find over the hill there was the metal frame of one, and that was probably 1/8 of a mile away from where it was at. This is into some of the worst damage there too. Strong F3 to low F4 here. You can see some of the debarking that occurs with the worst of the damage. And there's an aerial as the same tornado moved into Bradley County there. There's some of the, you can see there's a lot of rotation in the winds there, counterclockwise motion there within that middle of the picture.